I'm John Carter in Moscow, in Havana, Cuba. Now in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. I'm John Carter in Petra, right here in communist China, reporting from India. Hi, I'm John Carter in the Solomon Islands. I'm John Carter in Soweto, from El Salvador. I'm John Carter in Sydney, Australia.
John Carter reveals the secrets of anti-aging and longevity.
Hello, friend. I'm John Carter. Welcome today to the Carter Report. This is another super program with Dr. John Westendahl, world-famous health scientist. We've got some amazing secrets to share with you today. Welcome today to the Carter Report.
Greater Manila is more than 20 million souls. Almost all these beautiful people are ignorant of the true gospel of Christ. Manila needs Jesus. 35 years ago, John Carter came to Manila. Pastor Carter is returning to Manila with an urgent assignment: preach the gospel of Christ and the great truths of the Bible. Don't water down the message. Make it plain, make it clear, make it Christ-centered. The Carter Report needs your help now to light a fire in the Philippines. Your gift will help open the doors of bondage, smash the chains of sin, and open the gates of paradise to thousands of lost souls. The churches have sent out an urgent plea for the Carter Report to return. Help us proclaim the true gospel of Christ to the beautiful Filipino people. Please send your support to the address on the screen, visit our website, or call the Carter Report.
Hello, friend. Welcome today to the Carter Report. Welcome to you, Dr. Westendahl.
Well, it's great to be with you here today, Pastor.
It's our privilege to have you with us. We've just done two tremendous programs on the science of health. And today, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the secrets of anti-aging and longevity.
So you can live longer?
You can live longer and healthier.
And look better?
Look better, feel better.
Yeah. So you want to hear this today because this is really exciting stuff. Now, you're an internationally recognized authority in the fields of food, nutrition, and longevity. You've got a PhD from Loma Linda University. You're also a founding member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. Now, what does the Bible say about health and longevity? Please.
Well, the Bible there's many scriptures that we can read in the Bible, and I believe the Bible is the greatest book on health and longevity, to tell you the truth.
And quite astounding, isn't it?
It is. And what did Jesus say? He said, I am come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly.
Yes.
He wants us to have an abundant life, a long, healthy life.
Yes. Also, too, there are other passages like this one in Exodus 15. Can I read it?
Yes.
Okay, if you listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands and keep all his decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you.
That's right.
So God said that if his people were to obey certain health laws,
right,
they wouldn't get the diseases that the Egyptians were suffering from.
That's right. And the Egyptians suffered for many of the diseases we have today. They had heart disease, they had cancer, they had stroke, they had arthritis. Paleopathologists have studied the diseases of ancient man. They've scanned these mummies, and they found that they have a lot of the same diseases that we have today.
It's quite astounding, isn't it, that God says that if you keep my laws that are found in the Bible, you're not going to get any of these terrible diseases.
That's right. And because they ate everything, they didn't follow healthy lifestyles, really. In fact, we have the same problem today. I call it the standard American diet, or SAD, SAD.
SAD diet.
It's a toxic diet that Americans are eating today. And we have, these types of foods cause and promote premature aging. Well, we're going to be talking about this today. And they lead to these diseases, the disease that the Egyptians had.
And what you're telling us today is that these diseases can be prevented.
They can be prevented.
And death can be delayed.
It can.
This is sort of amazing, isn't it?
It is. And there's some verses, and maybe why don't you read this, Pastor Carter, from Deuteronomy.
Okay, I've set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your descendants may live, that you may love the Lord your God, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cling to him, for he is your life and the length of your days. What does it mean?
Longer life. God is, he gives us life.
Yes.
He's the great physician.
Yes.
And if we follow his commandments and live according to his health laws, we can have much longer life.
Now, the Egyptians didn't obey those laws, did they?
They didn't. They ate everything that creeped, crawled, or flew. You name it, they ate it. They didn't have that. They didn't follow those Mosaic health laws that were given to the children.
And they were not a healthy people.
They weren't.
They were like us today.
They are. And there's a scripture that also, here we go, the Garden of Eden.
Yes. And so back in the Garden of Eden, in the Bible, at the very beginning of time, how were things different to what they are now?
Well, of course, the Garden of Eden was a paradise. It was a wonderful place to live. A man lived in harmony with his other animals, and he had a very healthy diet. In fact, we read in the scriptures about the original diet of man, which was a healthy plant-based diet. It was actually a vegetarian diet. Do you want to read the scripture?
Yeah, and God said, behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat or for food.
That's right. That was God's original diet.
And so they weren't having Big Macs?
They weren't. And this was actually an anti-aging diet. This was the original diet. It was an all-plant food diet. Yeah, most people don't seem to know this, do they? They don't. And a lot of Christians don't know this. And it's amazing what's in the Bible when it talks about health and longevity.
And America has got a health crisis.
We do have a health care crisis.
How bad is it?
It's very bad. We are killing ourselves by the way we eat.
Yeah, and the healthcare system is breaking down.
It is, and we're spending lots of money.
And today we're talking about secrets of anti-aging and secrets of longevity.
And in fact, you know, in the Garden of Eden, there was no killing, there was no death. Man lived in harmony with the other animals.
So they didn't kill the animals?
They didn't kill the animals. They ate from what God provided. And that was all those plant foods. And in fact, there was a tree of life. And you know, that tree of life, there was something supernatural virtue with that tree, because that was an antidote to death. It was a secret to longevity and living forever. That was God's intent.
And so you would think that the Creator God who made us would know what we need.
That's right.
And so he gave us a special type of lifestyle, didn't he, in the Garden of Eden?
He did. And in Genesis we read, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was the other tree.
Yes.
And the Lord commanded that man, saying, of every tree in the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in that day you eat of it, you shall surely die. So here we had one tree that could live forever and give super health and longevity. Yeah. And then there's the other tree, by eating it, making the wrong choice, that we will die.
And so it's all about choices.
And what happened? They ate of it, despite what God said, and that's when sin entered the world.
Yeah, and death did not come immediately, did it?
No, but once they ate that fruit, which it was forbidden, the wages of sin is death. Yes. They began to die, they began to age, and that's when aging began.
Yeah. And so we're talking today about how we can overcome this.
We are.
And we're going to talk about the original diet. Is this what we're going to talk about today?
Yes, we are going to talk about that and other principles of anti-aging.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that they still live long. In fact, Adam, the Bible tells us, he lived to be 930 years. And it's interesting to see the ages of the people in the Bible before the flood, before sin entered the world, and then after the flood. And here we have a list of all the patriarchs showing how before the flood, mankind lived to be over 900 years of age on average.
Now why?
Because
I believe that too, don't you?
I do.
Because they'd come fresh from the hand of Almighty God.
They did. And there's a number of reasons why they did. First of all, when we look at prior to the flood, there was extraordinary longevity, as I said, over 900 years. And there's a number of reasons. First of all, they had pristine genetics. They're at the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And their genetics were pure.
Just
and
out
they
of the
weren't
hand of
defiled.
God. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Also, there was an optimal environment and atmospheric conditions for planet Earth. We were unpolluted. It was a beautiful environment. And also that healthy plant-based diet that God had given them, the all plant-based foods that contributed to their health and longevity. And you have that tree of life there, too, to have food from.
Of course. And so, to a certain extent, do you think we can learn something from the first inhabitants?
Yes. What we learned is we have a choice. We can
anti-aging.
Live and eat from foods that are healthy to give us long life, or we can eat of the foods that will cause death.
So when we're talking about this, we find that they living such long lives even after sin came in. Then later on in the scriptures, we're told that they're going to live for 120 years.
Yes.
You know, that's in Genesis chapter 6. He made mankind to live for eternity.
Right, originally.
But then sin came in when they rebelled against God. And then it says, the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years.
So our life expectancy was cut short. And what's very interesting about this 120 years, today scientists tell us that we have the genetic potential and the physical potential to live to be 120 years.
You think this is true?
It is, and it's happening. And scientists are predicting more people will be living longer. But lifestyle and healthy living is a key factor in that. So
we're also told in the scriptures that man will live 70 years and then by reason of strength 80 years. But God actually decreed that that would not necessarily be so.
Right.
That man had the capacity, even in this fallen state, to live to be 120.
That's right.
Well, what does man have to do to live to be 120?
Well, he has to follow these laws of nature that can contribute to their health and wellness for a long life. What should we do? Now, we've got a statement here on aging. Yeah,
let's talk about aging, can we?
Yes, this is the definition of aging according to the Webster's New World Dictionary.
Yeah. It's
the process of growing old and showing signs of growing old. Now, that's an old definition because today there's things we can do to live longer, and there's two different types of age. We have our chronological age and we have our biological age.
Yeah.
Now, chronologically, every year you get a year older, right?
Yeah, I've noticed.
So the chronological age is the number of days, months, or years that a person has to live. Now, the biological age is the health and performance of a person's body systems, and it predicts our longevity. So we can live... you could be 50 years old and live an unhealthy lifestyle, but you actually are older. You're maybe 60 because you're smoking and drinking and overweight. And on the other hand, you could be 50 years old and eating healthy, getting regular exercise, and you could be younger. You might be only 40, 10 years.
Let's say 20.
Okay, even 20. Well, but anyway, so those are things. Now, there are places you can go to find out what your biological age is. But this is the problem here we have today. We're spending about $3 trillion, actually more than that, on our health care today.
This is amazing, isn't it?
That's right.
More than any other country in the world.
That's right.
And probably more than the rest of the world is spending.
That's right, exactly.
And we've got so much sickness in the United States of America, so much cancer.
And we rank 35th as the healthiest nation in the world. I mean, we're way down the list. And despite our modern technology and our advances in healthcare, and this is a real tragedy, is our future generations. 1 out of 3 American children are overweight. They're overeating the wrong types of food. They're too sedentary.
I don't want to be skeptical because I respect you as a scientist, but these statistics are correct.
They are. These are the scientific...
70% of Americans are overweight or obese.
Right.
That's a bit alarming, isn't it?
And it's going up. We're getting those numbers are getting larger.
No, it's going out.
And 100 million Americans have diabetes or pre-diabetes, and that's growing. They're predicting much more diabetes.
1 in 3.
That's right, and it's going to increase.
Therefore, in fact, we don't like to say this, but we're a rather sick nation.
We are.
something's gone wrong then with the American dream.
Yes. And look at blood pressure. 70 million Americans have hypertension or blood
I can
pressure,
understand
high blood
that.
pressure.
There's a lot of good reasons why you should have high blood pressure today. I mean, it's a very tense world, isn't it?
Yes. And hospitalizations, 70% of the people that are admitted to the hospitals today are there because of diet and lifestyle-related reasons.
I want you to say that again.
70% of patients in our hospitals are there because of their diet and their lifestyle. Now, we need hospitals. 30% of the people are there for other serious
accidents and so forth.
But we can do something about it. And this is why the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, which it promotes a healthy diet. This is the most important medical society in America today.
We don't often hear about it.
You don't, because it's an emerging specialty in medicine.
Yeah,
but
and it's not trying to make money out of people.
It's not. It's trying to get people on to real health. And they point out that for the treatment, reversal, and prevention of lifestyle-related and chronic diseases, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine recommends an eating plan based predominantly on a variety of minimally processed vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts.
Why don't we hear about this in the television commercials for Big Macs and so forth? Why don't they tell us this stuff?
There's bigger money in those Big Macs.
So really, the people who are putting this stuff out are driven by one big motivation.
Profit.
Yeah, profit. They don't really care about people, do they?
Well, you know, taste rules in the food industry, so that's what they're working on.
Well,
and even there is a society of medical professionals that are trying to address aging. It's called the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine.
Yeah.
And when you define the anti-aging is to stop, slow, or delay the aging process. Not that we're against aging. We're going to get older.
Yeah.
But if we can do things to slow it down, to stop it, and in many cases you can reverse it by changing your lifestyle.
And also to enjoy the years that you've got. Because, you know, there's not much good, is there, in giving a person a longer life if he feels awful every day.
That's right. And you know, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine has actually come up with recommendations with diet too, and similar to what we've been talking about.
And these are not people who are they're not people hammering the Bible, are they?
No, these are doctors. Some of them are atheists, but they agree with these things. We need to eat a wide variety of plant foods. We need to maintain our healthy weight. Choose a diet low in fat and cholesterol. Choose a diet with plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and use sugar, salt, and sodium in moderation.
I want to say to my friends watching on television today, this is good stuff, isn't it? Now, if we do these things, we're going to look better. We're going to live longer, and we're going to be nicer. And we're going to enjoy our days, you know?
And if you want to look better, there's things you can do, such as this. Daily use of a sunscreen of SPF 30 or more to prevent the aging, premature aging of your skin
cancer.
And skin cancer. And I'm a big believer in trying to use an anti-aging moisturizer every day in the morning, put that on your skin, and every evening before you go to bed. Those are things you can do so you can look younger and feel younger.
I was born and bred in Australia. And Australia, of course, is a place with great beaches. I mean, they're great beaches. But we're all brought up surfing or lying on the beach.
A lot of skin cancer there.
Yeah, well, I've had a skin cancer here taken off. And a week ago, I had a skin cancer there taken off my nose. And I've had a melanoma, which is a really bad cancer over, you know. And so what you're saying here, it's tremendously important and it's practical. And if we follow these things, we're not going to lose anything. We're going to gain a lot.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, this is tremendous. Okay, tell me this. Scientists have got various theories on why we age.
Right.
What do you say about this?
Well, there's hundreds of theories, and we're quickly going to go through some of them. Let's look at the first one. Is called the free radical theory. This has to do with these very unstable compounds that do damage to our cells at the cellular level. Here you have a healthy cell. These free radicals damage and attack the cells. They puncture holes in the cells. They cause oxidative stress that leads to wrinkling, to the premature aging of our skin, also our organs and so forth. So the thing is, they also can damage the DNA within the cell, and that causes cancer, heart disease.
Where do they come from?
They come from our diet, from smoking, from drinking, from pollution.
So free radicals actually come from smoking And from drinking alcohol.
And also from eating these processed foods.
Oh.
And these cause premature aging, and even if it's in your eye, the cells in your eyes, because of the UV exposure from free radicals, could cause cataracts. Now, the thing is, we can counteract that by having antioxidants in our diet. These prevent those things from doing the free radicals damaging the cells, like vitamin C and vitamin E and the carotenoid pigments that we find.
Are you talking about taking these by pills, or?
You can take them as pills, but you can also get them in your whole foods.
Which is the best way, isn't it?
Which is the best way.
Yeah.
You want to eat your food, supplement a healthy diet, but you want to get it from your foods. Then there's flavonoid pigments that are found in purple and green, blue vegetables and fruits and so forth. Now, these are a list of the foods that are high in vitamin C, which are antioxidants that can fight premature aging. So we want to eat more of these types of foods. And these are all in plant foods. You don't get them in animal foods. You get them from
none
plants.
of these things are in animal foods?
You don't get them in animals. It's only in plants.
Yeah.
Now, another theory is what we call the cross-linking theory. This has to do with eating too much sugar in our diet. When your blood sugar goes up, then these sugars bind with proteins. It causes damage to cells, even DNA. It causes the browning of skin and tissue.
Goodness.
And that's aging. And this is this is a popular situation, I should say, or related to the high blood sugars that diabetics have. So diabetics have more of this cross-linking of proteins and sugars combining and doing damage to the body.
Now, you get diabetes, how? Too much sugar? And too much fat, is that so?
Too much fat, obesity. When you're overweight, you're going to have more risk of diabetes as well. So that's where the too much sugar is getting into the bloodstream.
So if a person's got these things, he can be helped.
He can be helped, and you can reverse diabetes through what we're talking about here in this series.
So everybody better be listening today, because how many people have got diabetes in this country? 100 million or something?
It's growing extremely. There's a lot of diabetes.
Yeah.
Now, the other one is the chronic inflammation theory.
Yeah.
Inflammation is the cause of a lot of the diseases we have. This is what the doctors are telling us today.
Yeah.
And what causes inflammation? These things on that left fork. All that processed food.
Are you serious about this?
Yes. This is a pro-inflammatory diet by eating the stuff on the left.
So if you eat that stuff on the left, you're going to bring on a disease.
You're bringing on all types of disease, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, the inflammatory diseases that lead to diabetes and heart disease, damaging the...
And this is for sure, isn't it?
And this is for sure. This is shown.
We better listen to this.
And we need to eat those foods that were on the right, more the fruits and
Uh-huh.
vegetables, because they're anti-inflammatory. The next theory has to do with caloric intake. Eat less, live longer. And studies show that rat studies that a 50% increase in longevity with a 30 to 60% decrease in caloric intake. These studies on rats relate to what's going on with beings as well. So we eat too many calories. We're overeating calories. Too much sugar, too much refined food.
That's because we're a wealthy country.
We're a wealthy country.
And lots of food to eat.
Lots of food. It's cheap.
And it makes big people.
It makes big people. So that's the other theory. The other theory is the immune theory. And that has to do with strengthening our immune system. And the best way to do that is to eat more of these foods. These healthy fruits and vegetables, they have immune-stimulating properties that can strengthen our immune system. And by the way, those processed foods, all that fat and sugar and hamburgers and so forth, that actually decreases our immune system.
Now, you're certain about this, Doctor?
There's no question.
No question.
There's no question on that.
Yeah, the scientific world knows this.
That's right. And they know that this is the best type of diet to boost that immune system.
And yet today we've got a nation that is collapsing under the burden of a failed healthcare system.
That's right.
So it makes you think that perhaps we better get back to the teachings of the Bible on these things.
We do. And
to the original diet.
The original diet is it strengthens the immune system.
Yeah.
The other is the telomere theory of aging. This is very exciting because this has to do with our chromosomes.
Yeah.
And telomeres are the protective coatings at the ends of the chromosomes. You see it, the protective endings there?
Yeah, I can see it there.
And all the genetic material, that's all your chromosomes. And telomerase is an enzyme that helps replenish that. What happens is that the telomeres help to determine our health span and our lifespan. And as we see on the next chart coming up, as there's cell division, as you get older, cells divide and divide more. You can see you have longer telomeres, and they start going down and weakening. You get less of the telomeres. So the main principle that we want to talk about here is that longer telomeres equal longer health span equals longer lifespan.
Yeah.
Shorter telomeres are shorter health span, shorter lifespan.
Okay, break it down. Tell me, how do I put this into practice?
So by eating this healthy Genesis 1:29 diet that we say, that can actually lengthen your telomeres, which will contribute to a longer life and a longer healthy life.
That is basically a plant-based diet.
It's a plant-based diet. And by the way, this has been proven, and this is the Nobel Prize winning research.
And so you'll actually live longer and you'll feel better. You'll enjoy your days more if you follow the diet of the book of Genesis.
That's right.
Yeah,
now,
it's
the
amazing.
other thing, you know, there's all these different theories, but there's one thing that everything, when you take all these different theories, it all boils down to one thing. We lose water within our cells as we age. This is what we call the science of cellular water. And water in our body resides within the cells. It resides in connective tissue, and then there's wasted water. When people live unhealthily, they get edema and swelling, and they're wasting their water. So our goal is to increase the intercellular water in the connective tissue within the cells and reduce that wasting water. So here you have an example. This is a healthy cell, and see that nice membrane. It keeps all the moisture. Think of that as a grape. Now what happens, those free radicals and the inflammation damage those cell membranes, and we lose the water through the cells. It puncture holes in there, and to where the cell wall or the cell membrane is damaged and water seeps out. What we want is what's on the far right, is to build our healthy cells, and we can do that by eating the right type of diet. The cell membrane is made of lecithin and healthy fats, like the omega-3 fatty acids, and it keeps that in. So it's kind of like the grape going to the raisin. And those, we dry out on our skin and get wrinkles. We lose that water on our cells in our organs, and it causes a lot of problems. So we want to increase our intercellular water. That's the bottom line.
And the truth of the matter is, these things are doable, aren't they?
They are
doable
through a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle.
And if we follow this diet, we're going to live longer. We're going to feel better. We're going to be nicer people. We're going to be happier people.
Yes, and we want to eat your water. Eating this plant-based diet means you're eating water, and that water gets into your cells better.
Now, Doctor, it's been a great privilege having you here today, Dr. Westerdahl. You've given us so much information. And I want to say thank you to the audience for being such a marvelous audience. We have another super program with Dr. John coming up next time. Thank you for joining us today.
For a copy of today's program, please contact us at P.O. Box 1900, Thousand Oaks, California, 91358. Or in Australia, contact us at P.O. Box 861, Terrigal, New South Wales, 2260. This program is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you. We thank you for your continued support. May God richly bless you.